Hey there, Virgo Ascendant. How you doing? This is your forecast taking you from Monday, the 17th of November 2025, right the way through to Sunday, the 23rd. Now, if last week, brought up some soul searching, which I think it would have done with Mercury retrograde, making an exact conjunction with Mars. And that was the only big conjunction last week, the big aspect, then I think this is just going to take you even deeper into a much, much deeper story of belonging and family. Now, I say this because I've had a quick peek and also because we've got some massive themes in this week ahead. We've got a very rare exact sextile between Uranus and Neptune, which I'll be talking about. And I'll also do something separate about it as well. It's a pretty big thing. It's shaping a generation. It's huge. We've also got the new moon this week in the sign of Scorpio. And we've also got Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde is turning into Mercury Cazimi at the time of the new moon. Mercury is obviously your ruling planet. So this is of extra import and importance. It's very, very important to you. We've also got a heap of oppositions from Uranus to the moon, the sun, and your Mercury. So there's a lot. I think this is the week. If any of the weeks of this year was going to be the week where things get really revealed and shaken and start moving us forward, I would say this is the week to do it. This is the time when I think any spell we've been under is broken, smashed apart. I think it's going to lead us to alignment. We're going to be shaken a little bit, and that's going to allow us to kind of drop everything. I see mostly at the start that there's this moment of intimate, like privacy, this moment of us going really deep inside, really from Monday through Thursday. But I can tell you about all that in a second. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa Tanner Munson. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. And with these forecasts, I'm doing whole sign, Western tropical forecasts for the week ahead. And so if you've got Virgo rising, this is the place. So let's get cracking. Let me bring up my slides now. And as ever, I want to just quickly put a shout out to everybody that supports my channel, whether it's through individual donation or through my membership. I thank you so much. You make my life very, much more enjoyable. I love it. Thank you so much. So this is your chart. I've got two charts for this reading. This is the first one, and you can see that the moon, this is actually where it is on Sunday the 16th, the last time I had a look. And then this chart here is for Sunday the 23rd. So you can see that the moon is going from here to here, from Libra to Capricorn, really around the bottom part of your chart. Really, the emphasis is on the third house and the fourth house. And you can see there's a red dot at the beginning, at the bottom of those charts. That red dot is there to show you where the new moon is. The only trouble is every time I move my cursor down to that red spot, it brings up this bit of navigation from Canva. And sometimes some of my other slides, as you can see, I'm going through all my slides. There's loads of them. So I'm not going to go too far down there so that you can see what's going on. But essentially, as I go between the two, you'll see that the sun moves from here to here, and Mercury retrograde moves from here to here. They're like two ships that pass in the night, only they're meeting up at the same time as the moon meets up. So the three of them are all kind of converging at this destination of 28 degrees. It's very, very personal in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is known for many things, but one of the things it's known for is, like the secretive nature, the mystery and the power. And also, I think the regenerative energy of Scorpio is really strong. And so, coming into a new moon, the moon is appearing to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller in the chart until we get to the new moon. It appears to disappear. And this is really us having less external light, less external preferences. We're choosing to come inside, be our own counsel, go into self-trust, go into self-realization. This is a time when all of our external filters are kind of what's the word, deactivated. So I was thinking in terms of my cell phone. It's almost like we're deactivating all these apps we've got running, all these filters we've got running. And so this is a time to get into your unfiltered, intuitive, instinctive self. And you'll see the moon is actually going to go into the sign of Scorpio on the 17th. So it starts in the sign of Libra, but it's going into Scorpio soon after. And when that happens, I think we're going really deep inside. So we've got a real good run up with moon energy, and Venus and the sun also in Scorpio. And on the 19th, Mercury actually retrogrades into the sign of Scorpio. So you've got the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Venus all in Scorpio. This is a very, at the time of the waning moon, almost the moon has disappeared. This is a deeply private and personal time. Now, for you, it's in your third house, and the third house is quite a busy place. And the third house is a place of community, siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles, and all that kind of usual malarkey. It's also the community you grew up in, or that similar narrative that you might have learnt about your life when you were growing up. Like stuff you learn in early childhood, and those rules and regulations and the things you learnt from school, and that kind of mindset. I'm from Kent in the UK, and when I go home, all of a sudden it's like I adopt this, maybe my accent changes a little bit as it becomes a little bit more southeast. and when you're in the sort of like nestled in the bosoms of your your people, I guess. And so this is bringing you home. It is bringing you into a place of belonging. And so I really think that in the run up from Monday to Thursday, at the day of the new moon, you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into what makes you feel like you belong. And with Mercury going retrograde from the place of your home into the place of your community, I think belonging is much more complicated than just your actual bricks and mortar home or your actual family, whether it's your birth family or the family you've given birth to or the family you've got around you. There's something more than that. So I do think there's maybe a sense of homesickness or a yearning for that simplicity and the innocence of maybe what you learned about yourself when you were much younger. Now, during this time, you can see we've got the sun in a lovely set of exact trines with Jupiter and Saturn in this week ahead, from the 3rd house to the 7th to the 11th. These are all social houses. This is about partners, this is about friends, this is about your community. And so whatever else is going on at the same time as this quietening period, I would say you're in pretty exciting times. There is this sense that there's nothing that you can't really achieve in terms of the social support systems around you. You feel strong. And this is really helping you to create a name for yourself in your community, or to take responsibility in your community. And it feels that people have a really good reputation for you, or a good feeling like you are respected and trusted, and that there's this feeling of expansion. People want to share you or to talk about you in positive terms. So it feels like reputationally that there's a lot of exciting things, even with Uranus in your 10th house, which has probably created a sense, or he's just gone into your 9th, but even with having him very recently in your 10th house, which can absolutely bring out a sort of crazy new energy around you, even with that sort of recent craziness or this sense of, I need to change, I need to have more independence over my own brand or over being me, even with your insistence to kind of break free from anything trying to hold you in place, I still think your reputation is quite safe. I mean, obviously, if I looked at your personal chart, that might there might be something in there to sort of disagree with that. But this, this is, I'm trying to do this for as many people as possible. So, I would say this is a time when you can absolutely get a lot of support from people if that's what you need. There's also like Mercury coming back into Scorpio, but Venus trine the North Node is quite sweet as well, suggesting that there's a sense of fulfillment, I would say, when you connect to that sort of energy of what you like about being home and what you liked as a child, it feels like you're getting that support from the people around you. We've also got some exact Mercury things going on as well. A sextile with Pluto on the 17th, which I think is bringing in some very strong truths about things. And the exact Mercury and Uranus opposition. If you want to know more about this one, by the way, I did an actual Uranus and Mercury opposition video with actual readings for every sign of the zodiac as well. That's quite strong because this opposition is going on for, I think, 40 days roughly. It's quite a while, well into December, so it's worth, it's not out of date yet. And then Mercury is also making an exact trine with Neptune as well, which is also very strong. So your imagination, the power of your mind to work things out in a way that can give you some real deep resonance about your sense of belonging. It's uncanny. It's really, really strong. The fact there's so many trines to me is just indicating that we are smoothing the path going forwards. There's this sense of like, you're not really moving sideways, you are moving forwards, and things are aligning for you to move forwards. I also get the sense that there's this feeling of the future, sure, we're in this Scorpio part for the first part of the week. And then on the day of the new moon, by this time, Mercury is here. He's in a Cazimi with the sun, which means he's super strong all of a sudden. And there is a gateway for the Cazimi. I will put the exact timings. I might put them on I might post them in my YouTube channel. But they're definitely going to be in my school community, the exact times of the Cazimi, the start and the finish, in about 5 different time zones around the world. It's worth using that Cazimi to get an answer about something that you really want. But just before the Cazimi, we've got the exact new moon. So it's a very, very powerful and potent time. And also on that day, we've got the exact Uranus and Neptune sextile. Now, the last time these guys were at sextile, before this series, and this series started in August, and this is the second one of a 5-part series. So they're going to go exactly into a sextile 5 times between now and 2027. But the last time was in 1966 to 1968. And there's some differences, and I will talk about this in a separate video, but this is an opening sextile. What I mean is Uranus is kind of opening it up. The last time they were together was in a conjunction in Capricorn, and they are in a waxing sextile. And so they are birthing something. There is something big being birthed right now. And the fact that we've got this innovation and vision working together at the time of the new moon, and Mercury and Cazimi, to me, this is so, so powerful. So whatever you're wishing for in terms of settling, feeling that sense of belonging, feeling that sense of commitment and cohesion with your community, maybe coming back into alignment with your family, maybe trying to understand your birth family from a different perspective. One thing I'm doing at the moment, and it's almost like I don't want to say obsession because I'm not doing it all the time, but I'm gently uncovering the names of my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents. I saw a picture of my great-great-grandmother and great-grandfather today. Just like piecing together, where my ancestry is from is kind of exciting. It's like looking at the roots, which in many respects is what you're doing as well. Now, after the new moon, the moon doesn't take that much long to, it moves quite swiftly after into the sign of Sagittarius. And then we're coming into a different part of the week. So the moon goes into Sagittarius, and all of a sudden there's a lot of light flooding in, not actual light. The moon is starting to get bigger, but there's this feeling of hope and expectancy. I always think of the energy of Christmas, even though Christmas Day is actually in Capricorn. But the lead up to Christmas is a real sort of Sagittarian feeling, I would say. There is this feeling of optimism and a feeling of joy and a feeling of, I would say, warmth and togetherness and fun. And actually on the 22nd, the sun also moves into Sagittarius. And so briefly, we've got the sun and the moon and Mars in Sagittarius all really warming everything up. But shortly after, the moon goes into Capricorn. Yeah, and then just for the last couple of days, we've got Mercury making those trines to Saturn and Jupiter, and also the Sun making, it says an extile, but it should say a sextile, the Sun to a sextile to Pluto, which is very, very strong. So what I'm really seeing is the first part of this week is quiet. I don't want to say brooding, but it could be, because the Scorpio energy is pretty broody. There's a feeling of change and almost like things to do with your past and your community are starting to make sense. Like there's a new story forming. This is you rewriting your story, especially with Mercury retrograde, with the Cazimi in your third house, and it's your ruling planet. There is this sort of new emotional honesty, a self-trust that's growing. So any distortions about your childhood are able to like change and evolve and move. To me, it's about creating more space in yourself. So yeah, I think it's a very, very revealing week ahead. And once the Sun is in Sagittarius, I just think the vision, the faith, the future, the direction is coming in. Hence why I said it feels like the future is beginning to speak. You're ready to move forwards. I think it's an exciting week. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope that's helpful for you in navigating this week ahead. And if you want some, if you're already starting to feel into 2026, and what might be around the corner, then just check out my links below. And invite me to work with you. I have some offers at the moment that will help give you a very sort of comprehensive view ahead. Got limited spaces, but I'd absolutely love to piece together some of this for you. So have a fabulous time and catch you next time. Bye for now.